Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
And we welcome you to a special Monday installment of the program. Glad you're with us with Hays Carlyon and JJ LaSelva. I'm Frank Frangie. Special Mondays are always great because they're always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. We sure appreciate our friends at The Best Bet with 3 fantastic locations in town. That is St. Augustine, the newest one, Orange Park, the longest tenured one, and, of course, that beautiful location on Monument Road in Jacksonville. And this is a special day. College basketball season opens today, and we're going to open it in a special way. Florida, a really good Florida team, and what's become a very good USF program. Tonight in the arena, 8:30 start here at ViStar. We hope you're coming down to see it. We're right here in the lobby. Hell, look, when we originally scheduled this, the tip was right after we're off the air. They've backed the tip up to 8:30 now because SEC Network wanted to televise it. So you're probably not going to come and see us while we're still here, but we're going to stick around and watch basketball, and it's a great day. It is a special night for Florida because they think they've got a special basketball team. 24 wins a year ago. They made the tournament. They lost a very close game in the tournament. First time they'd been in a tournament in a while. First time in 10 years they made the SEC championship or tournament championship. Chris Harry, who chronicles Gator basketball, knows it better than anybody, will be with us at 5:35 today on the program to talk all about it. It's also going to be an emotional night. The terrific young basketball coach from South Florida, you were telling me, we heard more about it, a rising star in the basketball world, tragically lost his life within the last week or two.
It's one of the most tragic stories that I've heard in collegiate athletics in some time. I mean, we just don't often hear about a coach passing away, particularly one just 43 years old, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, it's obviously the family wants to keep the details private, but it was very, very sudden. This was not something that anybody saw coming, and it's just an absolute. It's if you're USF, it's like how do you forge on having that happen to you?
Amir Abdur-Rahim was the coach. He really was a good basketball coach. Went to Kennesaw State here in the ASUN. They were 1-25 before he got there and made them really good. Got to USF and in their first year won 25 games and turned them into a legit program. Abdur-Rahim, one of the rising stars in the college basketball area, but tragically lost his life with a medical procedure. They have announced Ben Fletcher as the interim coach, who is very close to Abdur-Rahim, so he will lead the Bulls tonight, and they've got a good program. So it'll be an emotional night. It'll be an emotional start to the night. But then it'll be a basketball game between what we expect and everyone expects to be a very good Florida basketball team and this USF team that will be very good. Just will struggle with the emotions, and who knows how that affects the game tonight. But I will say this. When the game starts, it'll be two teams trying to beat each other. But I think before and after, it's a lot of kids with different color uniforms pulling the same direction. The USF kids trying to get through a very difficult time. The Florida kids who know them well, trying to help them along. Will Richards, Chris Harry, again, who will join us today on the program, wrote a wonderful story about Will Richard, Florida's senior leader, one of those, who was recruited by Abdur-Rahim. And then even after Amir Abdur-Rahim wasn't going to get him, he still kept reaching out, saying, I'm here. Yeah, you're going on to bigger and better things. You've got some real opportunities, Florida, Alabama, whoever, some others. You're going to do well. So you've moved beyond what our school, but I'm here if you need advice. Whether you come here or not, I'm here if you need advice. So, which is really good stuff. Cool stuff. Very inspiring.
And so, yeah, it's going to be, you would hope a night of some healing for USF as they embark on, a long, hopefully a good season, but certainly a long season in terms of the time. I mean, it's amazing to me that we're doing this show tonight as Week 9 in the NFL closes.
I know.
When you think that this is the first step towards March Madness, which feels like it's an eon away from occurring.
Yeah, it really is. So speaking of the NFL, the Jags lose yesterday. Very bizarre game. Got down 22-0. Another tough start to start the game. Roared back to where they're within 6. Got a break when the Eagles missed a field goal. Drove it down to the Eagles' 13-yard line and then turned it over. And the Jags lose again. They're now 2-7 on the season. The 5th time they've lost of their 7 losses, where the margin is 5 points or less. The 4th time they've lost, the 5th time they've lost, when the outcome is decided within the last minute and a half of the game. It has been a bizarre season. And I will say this. I was thinking about this working on the show for today. This has been, for me, now you got to start in 95 because there weren't Jaguars before 95. But I'm going to roll Florida, FSU, and the Jaguars all into it. This has been the most bizarre football season involving those three teams in the 30 years they've all played football. Now, again, Florida and FSU played longer than that, but you get it. In the 30 years that we, in this media, and I've been in the media the whole time, in the 30 years this media has covered the Jaguars, the Gators, and the Noles together, this has been by far the most crazy, bizarre season I have ever seen. Not just because they're all struggling, by the way. They're 7 and 18 or whatever the record is together, but that's not the point. It's part of the point. The point is it's been the most bizarre season. If you add up everything that's happened, than I can ever remember.
Well, I mean, imagine in August being told that in November, Florida was going to have one more win than the Jaguars and Noles combined.
Yeah.
You would have said, well, that's really bad news for FSU and for the Jaguars, but that probably tells you that Florida's like undefeated,
right,
like 8-0 maybe, something like that. No, Florida has 4 wins. Florida is 4-4 and very much, wondering if they've got the right guy. And obviously, we'll get in deep into Florida, Georgia as the show progresses. But it's stunning to think that Florida's having a disappointing year, and Florida has one more win than the Jaguars and Noles do combined.
Yeah, it really is.
It's staggering.
So if you think of the way these seasons have gone, I'll start with the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-7. Usually, even in the NFL, which is a league of parity, when you're 2-7, you've been rolled a bunch. You're 2-7. When you have one of the worst records in the league, and they did have 2 bad losses. Buffalo really rolled them, and the Chicago game got away at the end. But of their 7 losses, and by the way, this isn't loss is a loss. I'm just saying how odd it is. Of their 7 losses, Hays, 3 times the game ended on the last play of the game. Twice they lost on the last play of the game. They won one on the last play of the game. The Cleveland game ended on the last play of the game when Brenton Strange had a Hail Mary in his hands that I thought he was going to catch. The Texans game ended with 17 seconds to play when the Texans scored the winning touchdown. This game ended with 1:30 whatever to play when an interception was made in the corner of the end zone when I thought the Jags were going to come back and win. It's just bizarre. There are that many close games. In the 9 games they have played, like 7 of those, or if you don't count the Patriots win and the 2 losses that got away, I guess 6 of those games, I mean right down to the end of the game. Now they won 1 and lost the other 5, but it's bizarre. So let's start with that. That's just a very unusual season. To the Gators. What are the chances that in a 10-game stretch, if you go back to last year, you lose 3 starting quarterbacks? Every time you lose one, you are ahead and about to pull a major upset. Missouri last year, Tennessee this year, and Georgia this year. And in fairness to Georgia fans, they might not have pulled the upset. But you are ahead when you were, let me rephrase it. You were ahead in the game in the second half as a prohibitive underdog, and you lose a quarterback 3 times in a 10-game stretch. I've never seen a team go through that, ever.
And they've had a multitude of injuries even beyond that.
Yeah, well, that's right.
But to your point, I've never seen it either.
So,
I mean, to lose 3 guys like that, I mean, obviously Mertz twice, but it's 3. Shocking.
And to Florida State, they were 13-0 last year in the regular season. They were one of the best teams in America. I will stand by this. If Jordan Travis never got hurt, they might have won the thing. Now, they might not have. I mean, give Michigan credit and Georgia credit, the teams or Alabama credit, the teams that made the playoff. But they might have. If Jordan Travis doesn't get, they might not have. But
I would have picked him to beat Michigan.
Yeah, they deserve to be in it even without him. But we've had that conversation. But they were one of the best 3 or 4 or 5 teams in the country. There is no debating it. They now might be the worst Power 5 tean in America.
Well, they are that.
I mean, there's 64 Power 5 teams. They might be the worst one. And I'm thinking, how do you go? I've never in my life seen a team go from one of the 4 or 5 best, without question, to one of the 3 or 4 worst, without question. I've never seen this. So Florida loses 3 quarterbacks in 10 games when they're ahead of a prohibitive favorite. FSU goes from one of the best teams literally in the country to one of the worst in a snap. And the Jaguars miraculously lose 5 games in the last minute of the game. It's the strangest season I've ever seen covering these 3 teams.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll ever see anything like this again. I mean, it's starting with FSU. The fact that FSU could finish a season 1-7 in ACC play, which is not a strong conference at all. Right. 1-7 in ACC play, it's unthinkable. I just in a million. I mean, when they entered this league, they lost how many games in like their first 10 years of being in it? 3. I mean, it's stunning to think FSU could be 1-7 in ACC play with an offense that is honestly the worst in college football. I mean, they are 132nd in scoring offense at 14.4 points a game, and they are 132nd in third down offense, 25.8%. They've scored 130 points this year. That is 100 or more fewer points than 11 schools in the ACC. Right. It's 54 fewer points than anyone else in the ACC. It's beyond belief how bad. For the Jags and Gators, the Gators aren't overly surprising to me that they've lost as many as they have. The Jaguars, that's a surprise, but the NFL is funny. Florida State's the one that I just think is by far the most astonishing, how rapid that fall has been.
So on this Best Bet Monday, we'll take a break. We're going to start with the Jaguars and the loss to the Dolphins, the Eagles and where their season is. We'll certainly talk about that. We'll talk Florida, Georgia, and how that one got away. 5 o'clock, Bucky Brooks jumps in and talks to. He was in the locker room. He was on the sideline. He had an up close and personal view of what happened yesterday in Philadelphia. We'll certainly do that. Chris Harry joins us at the bottom of the hour. We'll have headlines in the middle of those two, so we got a busy show. And we do want to remind you on this Best Bet Monday, we are live at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. We'd love to have you come on by. Kick off college basketball the right way. Gators and Bulls from USF. This is 1010XL at 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He may have started his career somewhere else, but he found his home in Duval.
Join me, Jeff Lageman, for Check the Tape Tuesday on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Jack's Napa Auto Care Group.com. Go to the pros Napa know-how on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988. So call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, and other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Anderson was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Any action? Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
That's a big redfish, guys.
With Captain Kevin Faber.
Oh my gosh.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Attention poker fans, the World Poker Tour is dealing hot at Best Bet Jacksonville now through November 19th. The action is fierce with 14 pulse-pounding tournaments, including the Best Bet Mystery Bounty and the $5,000 No Limit Hold'em main event with a jaw-dropping $1 million prize pool up for grabs. Your shot at Poker Glory is just a buy-in away. For tournament schedules and details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet Jacksonville and the World Poker Tour, where today's players become tomorrow's legends.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mac and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars, to trucks, to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Total Wine and More is having a Taste of Town November 8th and 9th from noon to 6 both days. Enjoy great liquor brands, craft beer, and more. Brackish Vodka is excited to announce 6 additional flavors, and all can be sampled and purchased at the Total Wine and More Taste of Town November 8th and 9th. Come to Total Wine at the Town Center and sample great local brands. Brackish Vodka is a proud partner of the Jaguars and proud to be supporting the Taste of Town.
The Money Pages brings you this week's Red Zone featured player of the week. Number 5, Jaguars safety, Andre Cisco. Andre Jordan Cisco Jr. played college ball for Syracuse and was drafted by the Jags in the 3rd round in 2021. Make sure to pick up this week's Jag Game program with a commemorative ticket of Andre Cisco inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, J.J. LaSelva with you. Jags lose 22-16 in Philadelphia. They're down 22-0. They came back, knocked on the door, got it to the 13-yard line, then threw the interception to Kobe Dean, the former Bulldog, as you know, outfought Dearness Johnson for the ball in the corner. All right, I'm going to go first. A lot of thoughts on this. I don't need to go big picture yet. We've done that about every time they've lost. Let me get to come into the weeds and the specifics of it. First of all, the end game. Let me start with the end game. I've seen a lot on Twitter and and whatnot that they should have run the ball on first down. That's become the narrative. Run the ball on first down. It's the worst thing they could have done is run the ball on first down. Your left tackle's playing his first game. You're down to your third left guard who just came up from the practice squad. Your center was in concussion protocol earlier in the game. Your right tackle left the game for a play with a knee. Your right guard left last week's game for a play with a knee. You have a beat-up offensive line. You're playing the 7th-ranked rush defense in the league, the best defensive line in the league perhaps. You're averaging 3 yards a carry. You've rushed for 60 yards in the game. There's nothing. You would not have made any yards. You couldn't run on them at all. You say, well, you run some clock. He had 2 timeouts left. Nick Sirianni would have immediately called a timeout. He had 2 to work with, so you would have given up a chance to take a shot at the end zone. You've scored 1 touchdown the entire game. You needed 4 shots at the end zone. So I to say, well, run the ball and run some clock, because your offense is so good, you only needed 3 shots at the end zone, even though you scored 1 the whole game? You need, in my opinion, you needed as many shots at that end zone as you could take. So I don't buy the run the ball, and he was calling timeout. If they're out of timeout, now it's a different conversation. Then maybe you run it twice and then take a couple shots, and then they can't get the ball. But maybe not because you're behind. You had to score. The most important thing to do was score. So I'll never buy that you should have run the ball. You weren't going to run on them. You couldn't run on them at all. I did not like the play call. I think even with 4 shots at it, take 4 shots with your best guys. Take 4 shots with Brian Thomas Jr. or Evan Ingram, or check it down to Etienne or Bigsby. I would not have thrown it to a backup running back. My belief on the play was this. They said, you had 4 downs now. You had 4 cracks at it. My belief is they're thinking, let's get tricky. Let's see if we can catch them asleep at the wheel. You usually like a matchup of, they were in man, so you usually like a matchup of your running back against their linebacker. Normally, in football, a foundation of football is that's a good matchup. If you can get in man, and it's my running back against your linebacker, generically speaking, let's take a shot. If it's not there, throw it in the third row. I'm thinking that's the play. Let's take a shot. If they're asleep at the wheel and Dearness runs by their guy, float it up in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. If it's not there, throw it in the third row. That's I have not talked to anybody. That's my belief to play and come back to win another day. But that's on Trevor a little bit for not throwing it in the third row. It's also on the play caller. You've got to know your personnel, and you've got to know that if he's covered, your quarterback's going to throw it in the third row. So that's what bothered me about the play. It is bothersome, and I know Doug talked about it today, that there wasn't more Brian Thomas Jr. and Evan Ingram down the stretch. By the way, that's not where they lost the game. They lost the game with another first half of 1 first down. They lost the game by having a third straight 10-0 deficit to start the game. That's where they, in my opinion, that's where they lost the football game. Nick Sirianni did everything he could to bring them back into it, but they lost the game. He coached a terrible game.
He is, honestly, he is the worst in-game coach of any coach this league has had in my life.
Yeah, so
I mean, he is a colossal moron.
So for me, my take at the end of the game is I would not have run the ball. You couldn't run on him. I would have taken 4 cracks at the end zone, and I probably would have wanted 4 cracks at Brian Thomas Jr. or Evan Ingram. But I wouldn't have run the ball. A mistake on the play call, a mistake by Trevor. But I think they lost the game in the first half. That's how I think they lost the game.
Yeah, obviously the first half was an abomination. I disagree. I would have liked to have seen 2 runs there.
2 runs?
I would have, because I still have 3rd down and I still have 4th down. So I've got my favorite Brian Thomas play and I've got my favorite Evan Ingram play. But I would have wanted Sirianni to burn the timeouts. I have no faith in the Jaguar defense. I have no faith that if the Jaguars score right there on that play, if Trevor throws a good ball to Dearness Johnson and they score, I have 0 faith that the Jaguar defense was going to hold the Eagles from scoring in 1 minute and 40 seconds. So to me, it would have been. I get what you're saying. It obviously,
I mean,
it's
in a tie
adding
game,
to the.
I'm with you, but you're trailing now. 2 shots at the end zone? Okay.
Go.
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And I mean, I again, this is all. I mean, it's such a mess that I mean, it's we're splitting hairs over a lot of other problems that they have. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where you've got to play a little complementary football and know that your defense is the worst in the NFL. And so to me, it would have been. I do want Sirianni to use those timeouts. And then I hope, first off, I hope I pop a run. I mean, I would say about the offensive line that, yes, they're certainly beaten up, but maybe giving them a couple carries there maybe helps somewhat in terms of it's maybe easier in terms of cohesiveness. So, I mean, I would have liked to have seen if Bigsby can, pop one or get it close, burn some of that clock, and then score with very little time left. So again, it's
not where they lost the game.
It's not where they lost the game, and again, and it's more an indictment of the Jaguar defense that I think has no chance of holding the Eagles when they have a minute and 40 to.
And I don't know if they'd have held them, but they needed to score.
Yeah.
The one goal there is get the ball. If your defense collapses, so be it. But get the ball in the end zone. And I wasn't. They had scored 1 touchdown in the game. I thought you needed every shot at that end zone to get the ball in the end zone. So anyway,
I see your point.
Yeah. So they lose the game. It is what it's really endemic of, and we can talk about blame and fire and cut, and we've done that. Everyone on Twitter is doing that, and everyone, let's fire the coach. It is clear now, and I've seen it so many times. It's so many levels of football. I'm telling you, when you miss a 4-foot putt, it's harder to make that next one. And when you miss 2 or 3 straight 4-foot putts, no way you're making the 5th one. And you don't sense that that's a team that believes it knows how to win and could win that game. It's you've got to make one more play than the other guy. And the story of their season, certainly the story of the first half of the season, is the other teams have made one more play almost every game. Almost even the Colts game.
Without a doubt.
I mean, you're up 14 points, and the Colts made 2 big plays on your defense, and Trevor did a great job bringing them back, and your really good rookie kicker drilled it. But every game, the other guy has made one. That's what makes this such a bizarre season. Someone on Twitter just said, Frank's pointing out the positives. These aren't positives. What I'm pointing out is the reality is if you wrote a story, the thesis statement for this season has not been they're getting beat 45-10 every week. It's because they haven't. They've had a couple of those. The story of this season is in this NFL where it's always close, they're the team that cannot make the one play almost every time.
Well, and again, to me, and you hinted at this earlier, it speaks to you start slow and you have no finish.
And there's no margin of error.
They've been outscored by 28 points in the first quarter. Now, some of that you could dismiss by, they like to defer if they win the toss, so maybe they're not getting the possession. Okay, fine. You've still been outscored by 28 points in the first quarter. You've been outscored by 35 in the fourth quarter. So you start miserably and you finish miserably. So, yeah, I mean, that's why you're 2-7, because you've been outscored by 28 in the first quarter and you've been outscored by 35 in the fourth quarter. I mean,
I didn't realize the fourth quarter number. I could have guessed the first quarter number.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're just dismal in any way that a football team basically can be. I mean, third down offensively, they're 31.6%. I mean, with this talent, that's unbelievably bad. Defensively, they allow 44.5% third down conversion rate. So you're 31.6 when it's your third down on offense, and you're 44.5% when you're on defense. That's a difference of 13 points.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it just speaks to. I mean, you see some of these numbers, you're like, how'd they win 2 games? And in looking at it, there's nothing really redeemable about where they are right now. They have 8 games left, and unfortunately, it looks like those games aren't going to carry a lot of weight or meaning, and it is unfortunate. But I think they've got talent. I think I think at 2-7, I think there's a lot of issues with the coaching. Obviously, we've talked at length about Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, and things like that. But the Ryan Nielsen thing is unbelievable to me. I mean, he makes Todd Wash look like Buddy Ryan. I mean, I cannot believe where this defense has gone with the talent that they have on that side of the ball. And it's just shocking. Saquon Barkley, it's 3rd and 17. And they run a draw to Saquon Barkley, and no one's within 6 yards of him.
And we saw the stat today. You saw it too. Bill Barnwell, I think, had it. The stat today that on 3rd and 15 or more, give me the stat. There's 9 times.
So Bill Barnwell of ESPN.
I mean, it's a good stat.
It is a great stat.
It's a painful stat for us.
It is a painful stat.
But it's a very real stat.
So I think he describes it as 3rd and forever, which I think he classifies
15.
as 3rd and 15 or longer. And the league average is basically 9%. You're going to allow that 9% of the time. The Jaguars allow it 39% of the time. And there's only been 9 instances of conversions on 3rd and forever this season, 9, and the Jaguars have given up 4 of them.
Yeah. And the rest of the league's given up the other 5.
I mean, what are we doing on that side of the ball? What are we doing?
And so that's that, and the slow starts on offense. And I know they're all scratching their head, but I mean, it's the 2nd game in a row where they had 1 first down in the first half. It's the 3rd game in a row you had a 10-0 deficit. Well, games go fast now. NFL games go fast. The clock doesn't stop anymore. I mean, it's a fast game. So if you, how many? 57, 65, mid-60 play. What's an average game? 62, 63.
Yeah.
It's not like college where it's 85.
Correct.
It's like 62 plays. I think is an average NFL game, give or take.
Which Urban Meyer didn't realize out until week 3 of his season
when he was
the Jaguars.
250 and 250. But 250 and 250. That's the goal. 250 and 250. But back to it, Hays. The games go fast. Well, if you're down 10-0 and you have 1 first down in the first half all the time, there's no margin of error.
No.
You can't mess up. Because the Jaguars, I give them credit. They play hard. They're valiant. It was a valiant comeback. But they made a mistake at the end of the game. Well, there's no margin of error because you dug yourself that hole that you're playing uphill the whole time. Remember they talk about basketball teams sometimes when they get way behind, they fight to get back in it. And they tie it, but then they're out of gas. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happens here. If you're behind every time, so tough sledding for the team.
And honestly, it should have been a rout yesterday. I mean, Nick Sirianni just handed 7 points away, maybe even more, depending on how you view his choice of field goals.
It was actually 8. It was 2 field goals and 2 extra points.
Yeah.
So he actually eschewed 8 points.
Yeah. So there's 8 points there, and then. You saw one of the more peculiar touchdowns that I've seen, on the Trayvon Walker return, which was a phenomenal return. Yeah. Great play by Trayvon, but Ventrell Miller obviously touches Saquon Barkley.
Probably got the call wrong.
Yeah, who then falls and fumbles once he hits the ground, and then they viewed that, no, because he bumped into his offensive lineman, that's really what caused it, and which I'd never seen before. That was very fortunate. Yeah, so, you got a fortunate call, and you had the opposing head coach. Doug Peterson has to be wandering the hallways today saying, how did I lose to this guy? If I was Jeffrey Lurie, I would consider firing Sirianni this morning despite winning the game. It was one of the most egregious misconducts of how you orchestrate in-game decisions of a head coach I've ever seen.
There was an arrogance to it.
Oh, beyond belief.
They thought, well, we'll win this game, so we'll just go for 2. We'll win this game. So
there's a difference between being aggressive and being moronic.
Yeah,
and Nick Sirianni does not straddle that line well.
We'll take a break. Florida, Georgia. What an interesting Florida-Georgia game right across the street from where we are now. I don't know what to think. I walked away. I'm watching it. You and I are texting. You're back here at World Headquarters. I'm watching it in Philadelphia. Got up in the morning, went and had lunch and watched some of the other games. You got to get the Philly cheesesteak. I am an American, for God's sake. You do that, and then a bunch of us were going to dinner on Saturday night, so I went back to the room, and I'm watching it. It was one of the most bizarre. I didn't know what to think. Hays and I are texting back and forth. I'm like, they might win. Yeah, they might win. It was and Carson Beck, who I think is a very good player, was struggling, and what a bizarre game. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about where those two teams are headed. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need any special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Post-Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley.
Hi, Ken.
Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see, hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Oh, is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air and Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. If your car needs an oil change, now's the perfect time to visit Big Chief Tire. They're offering $10 off your next oil change at any of their 5 locations across Jacksonville. Their expert technicians will get you in and out quickly so your car stays in top shape. Visit BigChiefService.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling. That's BigChiefService.com or 904-932-0950.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barr here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barr Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit BarrOrthopedics.com.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
A meal and sparkling conversation.
Helmets and Heels.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Just behave, okay?
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
If you're searching for a new fence installation, challenge yourself to find a fence company with more positive online reviews than Superior Fence and Rail. With over 3,000 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 review range, Superior Fence and Rail is, well, superior. So take the online challenge or let their professional team show you what superior service looks like. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Introducing alkaline and electrolyte infused for great taste. Gatorade water, always in motion.
Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. For the athletes who give everything, nothing beats Gatorade, the studied, tested, and proven fuel of the world's greatest athletes. Gatorade water, proudly supporting high school sports on the First Coast.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
With the physicality of the NFL, by time players reach the halfway point of the NFL season where we currently stand, players' bodies are sore and banged up and injuries become more common. An already short-handed Jaguars team returned back to Jacksonville, dealing with even more injuries than that they left with. Here's Trevor Lawrence on the difficulty of dealing with injuries this time of year.
Guys that don't get many reps, just there's only so many reps, there's only so much time during the week, and they're ready to go. And receivers obviously had to step up today, and those guys did that and made plays. And so, I mean, it is hard though. Honestly, there is some difficulty with not having the chemistry and not having some of the timing. But at the end of the day, I got to trust those guys, and I do, and they made plays for me, and I just got to be consistently better as well.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
All right, if I, as a Florida football fan, graduated University of Florida December 13th of 1980, that's when I graduated. Diehard fan my whole life. Still mad about the losses. As a Florida football fan, my position is if DJ Lagway doesn't get hurt, the Gators win that game. Okay? That's my position. Having said that, I will acknowledge that as a fan's perspective. Because if I'm a Georgia football fan, I'm saying easy there, big fella. You tied it up 20-20. Lagway doesn't play defense, and we went right down the field and scored the game. So if I'm a Georgia fan, if you're a Georgia fan, you have every right to say easy there, Frank. Okay? We went right down the field and scored. We had the better team, and we won the game by 2 touchdowns. I get it. I don't know what would have happened. So, but I had to get that out. But I will tell you this. And this is, we'll talk about Georgia and Carson Beck in a minute. The Gators have found something. The Gators have found a toughness. The Gators, all of a sudden, they can cover. All of a sudden, your guy that you told me about before I even knew who he was, Pyburn, is a good player. Gums is a good player. Cam Jackson, who I've been really hard on, and Caleb Banks are good players. Those young linebackers, Miles Graham finally had a sack in a big play. Suddenly,
Aaron Gates is a star.
Aaron Gates, 3 plays in a row that when you and I were texting, he's a star.
Yeah.
Castell has become a good play. Those 2 safeties are pretty good. I mean, Devin Moore is a good play. That interception was a bad throw, but that was a big boy play now. The running backs, slowly but surely, when we've all just ripped this Napier guy, and he's awful, and he's dumb, and he's terrible, and how does he have the job, and Sunbelt Billy, and run him out of here, and I'm not saying I'm still not sure he's a very good sideline coach. I'm still not sure he's got much of a knack. But it's not a joke anymore. They went and played Tennessee in front of 100,000, lost their quarterback, and took him to overtime. Tennessee's a top 5, top 10 team. They went and played Georgia. Georgia's good. I know Carson Beck didn't play great, But these people say, oh, that proves Georgia's not the second-best team. The hell it does. Georgia's freaking good, okay? Georgia's good. Their quarterback didn't play. And Florida went toe-to-toe with them, and that game's tied with 5 minutes left in the game, and you've lost both your quarterbacks. They found something. Now, where that means and where that goes, we'll see. But I'm proud of how they're playing. I'll tell you this. I heard Hicken talking about today on the drill with Jeff. He did one of his polls, one of his Dream Finders polls, and said, do you want Billy Napier fired or do you want him back? He did a quick poll. He has 700. And I think, Dan, if I'm getting this wrong, correct me, but I think I got it right. He says 51-49 fire, which means the people that want you – there's some people that always want the coach fired. It doesn't matter what team, what sport, fire the coach, fire the coach, fire the coach, fire the coach. And you're not going to move that person. But of the people that aren't locked in one, I think the narrative's changing a little bit. That I don't think everyone said, hey, Billy's our guy, sign him up for 20 years. But I think they're finding that they found something there. It's a shame the schedule's so brutal. Without quarterbacks, they may not win again until FSU. But I think they found something. I really believe that.
I really believe it, too, to the point where I think the University of Florida should come out today and say Billy Napier will return next year.
And let him recruit.
It's the only thing that is – because, look, let's just be honest. It's probably not going to go – no, Napier, as you heard in the update, Napier gave a more rosy outlook to DJ Lagway's hamstring. But that's probably gamesmanship.
There's no question. So, you thought the same thing. You and I haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
But you and I thought the same thing. So he's not playing against Texas.
So you're probably not going to have Lagway for the majority of this final run. And so it is going to go poorly. And how can you really judge him? Are you really going to judge Billy Napier because his third-string quarterback wasn't productive? Because I don't anticipate Warner will be. So if you have strong leadership at the University of Florida, and obviously we believe in him and want to give him the benefit of the doubt, there's no doubt they've turned a corner. And it all starts with DJ Lagway. He's not the entire picture. The defense does look good, and it's a young team. The other thing, too, is he has obviously gotten them to really embrace his culture, the harmony, which in this day and age, we're seeing it in some other stops around college football. Some of these situations are toxic. This easily could have become that, and it has not become that. And you also don't have 28 seniors. You could be like, well, yeah, the 28 seniors have really banded together to keep this thing afloat. No, it's young players. These guys are going to come back. This is a nucleus of talent that can come back if they can retain them. But it all starts with Lagway. I mean, I agree with you. I think if Lagway stays in the game, Florida had a great chance to win it because I think in the trenches they were hanging right in there with Georgia. But I'll give you a DJ Lagway stat that to me this is why you've got to assume Lagway, obviously he came to Florida for Napier. We have to assume that relationship is still strong. We certainly see no reasons to indicate it would not be strong. DJ Lagway has got to be the Gators quarterback in 2025, and you have got to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. And if you fire Billy Napier, I would think you greatly increase your chances that DJ Lagway looks somewhere else to play his college football. But listen to this number. So DJ Lagway is averaging 19.1 yards per completion this season. That would rank first in college football if he had enough passes. The guy that's first is 18.38. So just to put that number in comparison for you, DJ Lagway averaging 19.1 yards per completion. Ole Miss superstar Jackson Dart is third in the country, 16.21. Cam Ward at Miami, who very well might win the Heisman, is sixth in the country, 14.56. This kid's averaging 19.1 yards per completion. He's thrown 6 touchdowns on 92 throws. So he's averaging a touchdown pass every 15 attempts, and he's a true freshman.
He doesn't even know how to play yet. And so I agree with everything you're saying about Lagway, but I want to throw in the other thing that you mentioned while you're making, and I agree with everything you said about Lagway. You got, somehow, some way, he's got to be your quarterback no matter who the coach is. But it's way more than that. All of a sudden, they're blocking. Those running backs are legit. I mean, again, I can't say this strongly enough. Don't think, oh, well, Georgia was a fraud. They're not.
They're favored to beat Ole Miss on Saturday.
I will take Georgia over Oregon today.
Yeah, I would too.
Let Georgia and Oregon go play right out here right now. Is Oregon ranked first? Who's first?
They're unanimous.
I would take Georgia right now. Now Carson Beck's got to play better, and that's a conversation for another segment. He's got to play better. He didn't play well, but Georgia's got player after player. I would take Tennessee over a lot of people, and Florida took them to overtime in Knoxville without their starting quarterback. So I think there is something there. And to your point, I love what you said. I thought about it too. Tell people he's coming back and let him recruit. People thought recruiting's a mess. Well, recruiting's a mess because everybody
no one thinks he's going to be there.
Correct. And so, and let me tell you this. I know recruiters. Every tweet that Swamp Lizard 68 says, fire my coach, is screenshotted by the director. There's 78 people in every recruiting department. And there's probably some people that are students that their whole job is to screenshot that and send it to the person you're trying to beat to recruit. Hey, your own team doesn't. Your own fans don't want him. So sign him up. And again, I'm still not sure he's a great coach.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about an extension. No. I'm just saying commit that he's going to be your coach next season.
And see what happens. And by the way, what have you really lost if it's one more year? If he's a lousy coach and it's a disaster, and you fire him next year. What have you really lost by taking a chance at this thing? One other thing about Florida.
You don't even have a university president in place right now.
One other thing, off the beaten path, but about the Florida-Georgia game. I saw this one, and this kind of ticked me off. So I'm going to speak up for my buddies over here at this stadium. I was on that field when Green Bay played the Jaguars. There's nothing wrong with that field. Last year, they sodded it when they probably shouldn't have. There was loose sod. Shamar James slipped and hurt his knee on some sod that did not take. Fair point. There's nothing wrong with that field on Saturday. The Packers and the Jags played on that field. Nobody slipped. None of those Georgia players were slipping. And after Florida players, I'm assuming, changed cleats about the middle of the second quarter, none of the Florida players slipped. So this talk about this terrible turf, more people that have no idea what they're talking about. Look, if you're watching the game and you're seeing turf flying and everything, then you can see it. There was none of that. There was nothing wrong with the turf. My guess is nobody walks through anymore. You used to walk through the field and get a field. Nobody does that anymore. People do the practice on their campus. The first time they see this place is when they get here. My guess is Florida had the wrong cleats. A lot of the players did. They're slipping like crazy. And next thing you know, Lagway's hurt. Let's blame that. Let's blame all these injuries. I'm telling you, that field, and I can tell you by being in the league, Nick and the people that do that field are highly regarded in the league. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I can tell you they're highly regarded in the league. There was nothing wrong with that turf. Georgia players didn't slip. Packers and Jags 6 days earlier didn't slip. I was on the field. I'm telling you, there was nothing wrong with the field. So I'm sorry Lagway got hurt. I don't think it had anything to do with the field. Now, maybe he had the wrong cleats. By the way, the injury was bizarre. Usually when a guy tears a hammy, he's running full out and it pops. I've never seen a cart come out for a hammy, and I've never seen a guy slip and tear it. It was a bizarre injury. And I agree with you. Smart by Billy Napier to not let Texas know for sure that they can prepare for this walk-on who's very limited. He ain't playing Saturday. And I would agree with you. I would be by the way, I don't think I'd play him Saturday anyway. I mean, I don't think you're winning that game. Play him at the 2 home games in FSU. That's got to be gamesmanship. We're not doctors, but it doesn't look the point.
Well, and again, not that they're all the same. Hamstrings can certainly fluctuate wildly. But I don't know if you watched Falcons-Cowboys. Well, yesterday before the Jaguars played, Dallas and Atlanta played at 1, and so I'm watching that game. And Dak Prescott throws an out route from the pocket and hurts his hamstring. It didn't look – he wasn't even running. It didn't look all that bad. Right. They've said today he's out several weeks.
Yeah.
So, again, they all can be different. But to suggest that Lagway had to be carted off the field and is going to be ready to get on a plane and fly to Austin, Texas and compete on Saturday, I would put that at about 3% probability.
It would surprise me as well. Let's take a break. Back to Jaguar football. Bucky Brooks joins us after this. The Buck stops here. He was on the field for all of it yesterday. That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get closer to campus and the biggest games of the weekend.
I'm Matt Hays. We'll break down the players, games, and storylines
on the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff, Friday evening at 6. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Find your midseason stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start, and check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 4-point home underdog to the Vikings. The over-under is 46 points. The Gators are getting 21.5 points at Texas. Notre Dame, a 25.5-point favorite over visiting FSU. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Nick in here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window
World, simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
Hacker here, and let me tell you, this is the stuff I never thought I'd say. I now weigh 209 pounds thanks to Awaken 180. To put that in perspective, I'm down from a triple XL to a large. My waist has dropped 10 inches from a 48 to a 38. I honestly never thought I'd get to this point. And one of the best parts now is that I get to be so active and play every afternoon with my 5-year-old little Hack. Now, none of this would have been possible without Awaken 180 weight loss. They don't just help you lose weight, they make the impossible possible. We're celebrating this Saturday at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra Beach for a Florida-Texas watch party. Yes, I will be eating, and yes, I'll be drinking. Both are approved while losing weight with Awaken 180. Now, if you're ready for your own transformation, making the impossible possible, do what we all did and choose the solution for weight loss at awaken180weightloss.com. If they did this for me, they can do it for you too.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The last thing you want to be dealing with this holiday season is a septic emergency. Plan ahead and schedule to have your septic tank pumped out now. Our wonderful team at Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is standing by and ready for your call. We'll get your septic tank pumped out right away, giving you one less thing you have to worry about this holiday season. Check out our reviews online and give us a ring today. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Start your week by talking teal with Tony. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the Drill. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Hall of Fame Quality Roofing Solutions on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Bank in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards, and it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm Max Finke with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. If you somehow haven't felt the presence of the Miami Hurricanes, you should have by now. On Saturday, they put a solid Duke team away with a strong second-half performance by Cam Ward, winning 53-31. The Hurricanes' wagon of an offense continues to impress with their fifth 50-point performance of the season. Miami, who sits at number 5 in the country, looks to be well on their way to the college football playoff. Here's head coach Mario Cristobal on the way the Canes responded and dominated in the second half.
But a lot of it also, we got to do a better job. We had some miscues that were uncharacteristic and just regrouped at halftime. And the decision was simple. Let's play Hurricane football and play as a team, play together. Put forth our best effort and execute at a high level. And really proud of our guys for that second half performance and taking control of the game and being 1-0 on the day.
It's 78 degrees at 5:03. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The buck stops here. Time now for Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Coyle & Sons, Jacksonville's commercial fence specialist, on The Frangie Show.
All right, Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon with you. We thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. My buddy Eric, by the way, bought Coyle & Sons. He owns the company, and he's dying with those Jaguars like we all are. But you can call him at 904-356-4821 or CoilJacks.com for all your commercial fencing needs, overhead doors for your business. They're the best in the business for businesses that need fencing. One more time, CoilJacks.com or 904-356-4821. Buck, that one was hard, brother. That was hard yesterday. You were on the field on the play that essentially ended the game. I thought it was covered. I was surprised Trevor didn't maybe throw that thing in the third row. What did you see? What was your thought on that play?
Yeah, exactly what you saw, Frank. Wasn't a lot of space. Wasn't a lot of room. And that was pretty evident during the pre-snap. Nakobe Dean was about 8 yards off of Dearness Johnson. There wasn't any space, and I understand Trevor's desire to maybe make a hero throw in that moment trying to win the game. But when you think about time-scoring situation, so much time left, so many plays left, wasn't necessary to maybe make that attempt.
Hey, Bucky, great to talk with you. Looking defensively, 3rd and 17, the Jaguars allow a 19-yard touchdown run by Saquon Barkley. What went wrong on that play?
Man, I don't know, man. It's so crazy because I feel like the Jaguars have been in this situation so many times where they've had 3rd and forever, and they allow a big play to go. And in that moment, man, you're thinking 3rd and 19, 3rd and 17, whatever, it's going to be a field goal, don't give up anything. But it had to just be a miscommunication, a lack of gap discipline, because a simple jive play goes to the house. And I'm going to tell you, if they had been 70 yards away, he would have scored. The whole side of the ball collapsed. And it was a huge play. I just don't really understand what happened on that play.
Bucky, I made this comment earlier to Hays, and you know me, I talk about golf a lot. But if you miss a 4-foot putt, then it's harder to make the next 4-foot putt because it's in your head. And then you've missed 2 4-foot putts, and then it's really hard to make them because you're thinking about it. I think the Jaguars so often this year have not made that big play at the end of the game because there's been a lot of games like that. But now they're less likely to make it because they don't know what it feels like to make. Do you see that? Is there a confidence thing late in these games when these big plays come up?
A little bit. It's a confidence thing or it's a hero ball thing. Yeah. Whereas everyone decides to do a little more than they need to in an effort to try and single-handedly win the game. And I think the thing that you talk about in golf, right, the best golfers have a way of slowing their heart rate down when it's that critical putt that they need to make. And I think for the Jags, sometimes it's almost like you want to call a timeout and say, hey, guys, everyone just take a collective deep breath. Let's just know exactly what we're supposed to do in this moment and just do that. And because we have such good guys, everyone is trying hard. I can't question the effort in those things. It's an execution problem under pressure. And really, man, you can rep it in practice and do that. But in games, you have to do it exactly as you practice. And for whatever reason, we're not getting that part done.
The offensive line certainly had to battle a lot of attrition yesterday. How do you think they performed?
I mean, that was fine. But, I mean, I think what you saw was the lack of depth, right? So you trade away Cam Robinson, then you immediately have some injuries that impact you. That's what shows up. And, I mean, now, man, we're talking about at the bottom of the barrel. You're talking about having to elevate maybe some late rounders or some practice squad guys. It's going to be really tough. But I would give them this. The unit battled hard. They fought hard. They were able to get back in the game. But the road only gets tougher. You know, when you think about Minnesota coming in, Detroit on the horizon, there are no easy wins on the schedule. And the Jaguars are going to have to bow up and just find a way to do it with what they have.
Bucky Brooks with us talking Jaguar football, brought to you by Coyle and Fence, Coyle and Sons Fence Company. Look, and we know this, and when we're calling the game, you, Tony, Jeff, and I are calling the game, we feel it. You see it closer than we do because you're there. The big problem is these slow starts on offense. It's the second game in a row where they had one first down in the first half. It's the third game in a row that they've trailed 10-0. What's going wrong early on? Why can't they find a rhythm offensively early on? I mean, you're right next to those guys. Are you sensing anything, Bucky? Why is that happening?
You know, it's funny because, like, you know this, so you talk to Doug all the time. And it's the most baffling thing that he talks about because he's like, you know, I don't know. Like, I mean, we have a scripted first 15 plays. Everyone knows what the script is. It's the execution. And I know, like, we on the outside, like fans, those around the team, we always want to put it on the coaches. Man, the coaches got to get them to play fast and all that. Sometimes it really comes down to the players executing the plan that is given. I mean, we've been around it. We've seen them practice. They go through situations and all that, the openers and all that.
Yeah.
Some reason this team is not executing at a high level early in games, and we can't really figure it out.
Were you surprised we didn't see more two tight end looks yesterday after Brenton Strange played well, particularly at the latter stages of the Packers loss a week or so ago?
Yes, I was. I was surprised that we didn't see more two tight ends, three tight end sets because the receivers that you're playing with, no disrespect, but you had two practice squad elevations on the field, Trammell and Elijah Cook. You had, I mean, Parker Washington played a lot. BTJ was kind of in and out the lineup. I absolutely thought that this was going to be a two tight end game, three tight ends, and you're going to try and find a way to make it kind of a ugly game offensively in terms of making them match up with the bigs. But no, we came out and basically did what we did with just the backups playing in the prominent players' place.
Bucky, you're a big believer. You say it on our broadcast a lot that your stars need to be stars. Well, part of that is the stars need to get targeted. The stars need to have a chance to get targeted. And you made the point at the end of our broadcast last night that you were surprised maybe the stars weren't targeted more. When that's happening, does Brian Thomas Jr. need to go say, listen, I'm open? Does someone need to say, listen, we're gonna try and stick it in there to 7, even if he's getting doubled a little bit? How do you get your stars more involved when they haven't been involved in a game like that?
One is very intentional. It is an intentional thing that is done by the coaching staff. And Doug knows this well. Doug and I were together in Green Bay. I can tell you Coach Holmgren had an assistant, Gil Haskell, who's the wide receiver coach. On the play sheet that we see Press Taylor and Doug have, in the corner somewhere, there should be a thing when Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Brian Thomas Jr. were available. Get the ball to 13, get the ball to 17, get the ball to 7. And it's about 6 or 8 plays that are designed to make them the primary target. There's no read involved. It can be a bubble screen, a hitch, or whatever. You cannot allow your star players to go these long stretches without touching the ball. Because I'm going to tell you now, having been a wide receiver in high school and college and for the first part of pros, when you don't touch the ball, they begin to check out, like, what am I doing? I haven't touched it since the first quarter. And then you can't count on them in the fourth quarter because they don't have a rhythm. It's about making sure your stars are engaged. And some of that is by design. Someone on the coaching staff has to remind Doug and Press, hey, man, it's been a couple of possessions since Brian Thomas Jr. touched the ball. Because when you're calling the game, sometimes you completely forget, so you're so immersed in the play. Somebody has to remind you, make sure number 7 touching the ball every now and then to have an impact on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Trayvon Walker had a brilliant fumble return for a touchdown, but were you surprised that Ventrell Miller's contact on Saquon wasn't enough to rule it down?
No, not from my vantage point. Like watching it on the field and watching the replay. Couple of things. So Ventrell Miller hit him initially, but the guy that really knocked Saquon down was his own man. If you look at that play, he trips and stumbles, but the guy that directly contributed to him falling was a lineman. He stumbled over his foot. So it was a great play, not only by Ventrell getting there, but it was a great play by Trayvon Walker being aware enough to pick up the ball and go score. And it was one of those moments that I was like, man, turnovers typically come in bunches. And I felt like the worm was turning with the Jaguars defense when it came to the turnovers, because then it looked like Andre Sisco was going to get an interception shortly thereafter. And I was like, finally, the turnover bug is biting our team, and we're going to be able to make some plays.
Yeah, we called it as a pick. I thought he had it. I really did. I thought you couldn't tell from where we were. I thought he had it. All right, final thing. I ask you this a lot on these Mondays, Bucky. The what now? And I know I think your position in the past has been they just have to relax and play. Somehow Doug, Nielsen, the coaches have to get them just to relax and not feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. So I'm assuming it's still some of that. But what do you do now? You're right. It's not getting easier. Minnesota's next, and Detroit might be the best team in the league. How do you get them to get beyond this?
Well, no, I mean, like, obviously, you have to take a one-game focus, right? You got to focus on what's ahead of you, and that's Minnesota. But you even have to break it down farther than that. And Marty Schottenheimer, who should be in the Hall of Fame, used to always talk about one play at a time. And it's very similar, Frank, you talk about in golf. Hey, man, I can't play the entire hole at one time. All I can play is this next shot. And I think you have to hammer that into the players. Hey, guys, you can't worry about what happened before. You can't worry about what's going to happen in front of you. You got to worry about this play right here. Play the play as hard as you can, play it as well as you can, and then when that play's over, you got to go to the next play. And hopefully, if you begin to stack positive plays like that, you can work out of this slump that we've been in.
Can they bust out of this, Bucky? You're around this, guys. You've been around this league a long time. You know that personnel. Can they get on something? Whether it turns into a playoff spot or not, I'm not even talking about that. Can this team get on a roll and win some games?
I think so. I'm always positive they can do it, but I will say this, Frank. It was as dejected a team as I've seen in a long time walking off their field. I felt like, even though it wasn't great, they poured a lot into that game against Philly. Look, guys are resilient. By the time we get to Wednesday and go back on the practice field, they'll be fine. But I'm going to tell you, they were hurting after this one. This was a tough loss for them.
It's good to, yeah, and I get it. I get it. Bucky Brooks does a great job talking Jaguars football. He'll be with us on the broadcast when Minnesota comes to town on Sunday. Bucky, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, Frank.
All right, that is the Buck Stops here. It is brought to you by Coyle & Sons. One more time, 904-356-4821. You need to know that number or go to CoyleJacks.com. That's CoyleJacks.com. Commercial fencing, commercial overhead doors. If you need it in this town, chain link fence, commercial steel, you name it, those rolling doors, nobody does a better job than Coyle & Sons Fencing Company. Hays has headlines on the other side. Chris Harry at the bottom of the hour. But let's do some headlines after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's truck season at Nimnik Chevrolet. Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done, like a brand new Silverado 1500. This month, you can save up to $10,000 off a new Silverado, or well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 0% financing. That's right, 0% with no payments for 90 days. Can you believe that? And all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups
With the largest inventory on the ground, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnik. Hard to believe, but it is there. The Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. Now, ask about 0% financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Remember, Nimnik is the place you go to get all these fantastic deals. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnik. Head to Nimnik today. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Learn the ins and outs and ups and downs of the man under center.
Don't just watch the position, learn the position.
Friday mornings on The Drill. Denny Thompson is
the quarterback whisperer.
Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here. And fellas, we all know that athletes train every day to perform better on the field, right? Well, what if you could enhance your performance in the bedroom? No training required. That's right. I'm talking about that secret weapon, Blue Chew. A chewable tablet with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. That ships right to your door in a discreet package. No doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's all online. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. They also have Daily Tad that contains 7 essential vitamins. And it's chewable too. And now you can try Blue Chew for the free ski. That's right, for free on me. Visit BlueChew.com and enter my promo code 1010XL. You only have to pay $5 for shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's promo code 1010XL. Let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
I'm Holt Harrell. Generations of Harrells have served in the military. We understand the sacrifices that veterans and their families have made. Please join us this Veterans Day in honoring our servicemen and women. I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. As we stay committed to the Northeast Florida community, it seems like other law firms want to take over the world. In a world of law factories, choose a law firm with a name you know, a name you trust. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Big Chief Tire offers affordable quality tires for every type of vehicle. Frank Frangie here. Whether you're looking for all-season tires, high-performance options, or something more budget-friendly, Big Chief has the perfect set to keep you rolling. Their expert technicians ensure your tires are installed quickly and safely so you can drive with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and check out their unbeatable tire deals today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval! Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Ride the hurricane wave as the storm brews in South Beach.
Keeping you closer to the U with news and notes from the orange and green on the Hurricane Report on 1010XL.
Brought to you by Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Imagine beautiful new windows and doors that elevate your space and keep you comfortable year-round.
At Renewal by Andersen, we specialize in custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors that are crafted to last. Right now, for a limited time, save 20% off your entire project. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation today. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jacks, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reach Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, we've got JJ LaSelva at World Headquarters. Tom Champion helping us out here at ViStar Memorial Arena as we get ready for Florida versus South Florida. Thanks to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we'll start with the Jaguars. Lose to the Eagles in a bizarre game to drop to 2-7. What will stick with you the most about the loss Sunday?
For me, obviously, what will stick with us most is the way it ended. You just hate it for Trevor and for the team that it had to end with another mistake. But they lost because of that slow start again. The Eagles were ripe for the taking in this game. I thought the Jags out-toughed the Eagles, outplayed the Eagles physically. So what will stand out to me was the end game, because it will for everybody. But I'll say what I said earlier. I would have taken 4 shots at the end zone. I wouldn't have run, and I wouldn't have gone slow. You had 1 touchdown all game long. You weren't running on them very well. I was worried, could they get it in there? And I would take 4 cracks at it. I feel bad they only got 1. But so that's what will stand out. I think they lost the game with another slow start. They're playing uphill the whole time.
Doug Peterson met with reporters today and said Anton Harrison and Brandon Sheriff are fine playing through injuries, commended their toughness. But it looks like Harrison and Sheriff will be fine. That's good news. Bad news, though, and it's not a surprise for left guard Cooper Hodges. Peterson says he is in all likelihood lost for the rest of the season with a significant leg injury.
And that really is a shame. That's a kid that worked hard. He had it happen to him last year. It's happened to him again this year. I really hate that for him. I like him. He's a good dude, and I hate it for him. I'll tell you what, and Anton Harrison too, by the way. Brandon Sheriff's a tough cookie, man. You can't get him out of the game. Good luck trying to pull him out of the game. Hey, that dude wants to play. No matter how hurt he is, he answers. Baselli was watching him, and nobody knows offensive line play better than Baselli does. And he was watching him, and he said he was going against Jalen Carter, man. He was going against, and he was holding his own. He was hurt. He was banged up. That guy's scrappy, man. He's a good Jaguar. He really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to around the NFL. We'll start in the AFC South. Minnesota beats Indianapolis 21-13 on Sunday Night Football. Interesting, Cam Robinson did start at left tackle for the Vikings and played pretty well. Did get called for a holding penalty, but played well enough that head coach Kevin O'Connell gave Robinson a game ball after the game. The Vikings tweeted out the video of it. O'Connell speaks at length about the difficulty for Cam Robinson to arrive on Wednesday, play on Sunday, and play at a high level. So interesting first start there for Cam Robinson. The Vikings defense confused Joe Flacco all night. The Colts scoring their touchdown off of a defensive fumble off of Sam Darnold. So tough loss for the Colts, and they really didn't get any sort of clarity. You know, Flacco didn't play maybe the way that they were hoping he would play against that sophisticated Vikings defense.
Yeah, but I'll say this. He's their guy moving forward. Whether he played well, whether he didn't, there's no back and forth here. Maybe I don't think they've given up on Anthony Richardson. They've invested too much, but he ain't playing anytime soon. I don't think they're gonna ride or die. I believe with Joe Flacco. I really do.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tremendous challenge for Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars offensive brain trust going up against Brian Flores, because I mean Chris Collinsworth did a great job highlighting it throughout the broadcast. They are tough to figure out where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a big challenge for the Jaguars Sunday when Minnesota comes here. Frank, the firings have begun. We knew that with Robert Saleh, and now we have another coach who has lost his job as the Saints fired Dennis Allen today. So the Saints and Jets jobs are open. The Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce fired 3 assistants, including offensive coordinator Lou Getsy today, also the offensive line and quarterbacks coach in Las Vegas. So the attrition has begun when it comes to head coaches around the NFL.
And there's a lot, when you throw in the assistants, there's been a lot of whacking early on. Only 2 head guys. But, look, more than ever, coaches are making more than ever. The stakes are higher. Social media is louder than ever. Everybody wants everybody fired. I don't care who you root for. If your team's losing, your fan base wants somebody fired. Everyone thinks fired is the quick answer. So, a lot of them are starting to drop. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, let's get into injuries around the NFL because there were plenty yesterday. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is expected to miss several weeks with a hamstring injury. The Cowboys are 3-5 and will turn to Cooper Rush. Cowboys dead?
Yeah, they are. But I told you this before the season even started. I never bought it. When they rolled Cleveland to start the season, I told you I just don't see it. I think that thing's got to get blown up, whether it's Mike McCarthy, whether Dak, and I know they've paid him. I don't see promise for that. Maybe I'm just so Pollyanna. I still think there's hope for this franchise, regardless of how it's being led, and I think there's enough people that have been paid that are the right people. The new stadium's getting built. I think there's hope for this franchise. I think Dallas needs a reboot, man. I really do.
Yeah, I would think Mike McCarthy is not long for that job. Other injuries at the receiver position yesterday in the league. A.J. Brown against the Jaguars hurts his knee. C.D. Lamb, the talented Cowboys receiver, hurts his shoulder. And Drake London for the Falcons has a hip pointer. So we'll see as the week progresses. But 3 really talented receivers.
You know, I hate to see any of them get hurt. I hated to see A.J. Brown get hurt, even though he's playing against the Jags. He's a very good player. Ventrell Miller hit him now.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big hit. I mean, Ventrell Miller, and that's not where you're going with the topic, but it brought it. I got thinking about Ventrell because he's the one that caused the injury. And again, I don't want to ever see a player get hurt. Ventrell Miller will hit you now. He will hit you, and he will hit you. So, but no, you hate to see star players at star positions get hurt for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Good news for the 49ers as they open the window for running back Christian McCaffrey to return to action. McCaffrey, of course, is yet to play this season, battling an Achilles injury in both ankles. The 4-4 49ers are coming off their bye, so it'll be interesting to see if McCaffrey can get going. But the expectation is he will make his debut on Sunday.
Yeah, and you know what? Good. The sport's way better when he's playing it. I thought they might not have him. I mean, it certainly felt like he was, so I'll give them credit. They kept looking. He went abroad. He went everywhere to find answers, and maybe he's got the answer he needed.
Absolutely. Look, Week 9 will conclude tonight with Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Can the Bucs keep it close against the Chiefs?
Yeah, no. I think the Bucs hit a wall. I think losing the receivers was a big thing. I think they were frittering on the edge a bit anyway, and they had 2 really good receivers. I mean, you have 2 really good receivers, and they're a big part of the personality of your team, and they both go down. I don't think so.
Let's get to college football. The Gators fight hard but lose DJ Lagway and fall to Georgia, losing 34-20. Frank, what do the Gators have in DJ Lagway?
Yeah, something special. I think, number one, the game's slow for him. For a freshman in there, look, he's got a lot more to do. He's got to learn how to play. He's still not I don't see him completing 7 or 8 passes in a row. He throws the ball downfield. He holds the ball a little bit. There's a lot of things these good SEC defenses are doing to confuse him a little. But it's there, man. The one thing about him is the game is not fast for him. The game has slowed down for him. When he's in the pocket looking downfield for that deep ball, he doesn't rush it. He doesn't hurry it. He lets the play develop. There may be something really special there, but it's not just him. I'm telling you, they've found something there. Look, they're going to be 5-7, maybe 6-6. They're barely going to make a bowl, if at all. The coach is on the hot seat. It's far from roses there. But if you look close enough, if you watch the Tennessee game, you watch the Kentucky game, you watch this Georgia game, there's something there. It's very clear.
Absolutely. Billy Napier today said DJ Lagway's hamstring injury is not as significant as originally thought. Went so far as to not rule him out for Saturday's game at Texas. That's great news for the Gators. I don't know that I buy that he's going to play Saturday, but right now I think you take having DJ Lagway in your final 2 games and just missing a couple.
Yeah, there's no way you'll convince me he's playing. I think this is gamesmanship. This is at least telling the Texas staff, well, just you better play for that. You better practice a little bit for that RPO. You know, you better practice for that deep ball just a little bit. I can't imagine. I don't know, but I can't imagine watching how injured he was. Watching him that all of a sudden he's playing 7 days later.
I would be very surprised as well, but Florida fans will hold out hope. The SEC did announce today that Florida's home game with LSU on November 16th will be a 3:30 kickoff in the Swamp.
I didn't know that. How about 3:30? Okay, very good. So that means I can get to dinner in Detroit that night, which is very good. We're already working on that. So it's it's really all about me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it is. You know what? Yeah. And that'll be a great crowd for them. I will tell you this. Play hard against Texas. Hang around the way you did Tennessee and Georgia. Probably not going to win that game. You go to 4-5, but then you got 2 home games, and maybe by then you do have Lagway back. And, you know, the final third of the season, the final fourth, I guess, of the season, the final 3 games, will be intriguing. I really believe that.
No doubt about it. North Carolina destroys Florida State 35-11. The Tar Heels outrushed FSU 289-42.
Yeah, I think Florida State, if you would have told me the Florida State team that I thought was one of the 3 or 4 best teams in America last year, in fact, with Jordan Travis, I know they were. They've got Fisk and all these guys, Verse is
a star.
These great NFL. They got so many of these guys. Yeah. I mean, Jarian Jones is. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Johnny Wilson caught a ball, was called back. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Keon Coleman. If you'd have told me that team, you would blink, and that team would be possibly the worst team in Power 5. I would have laughed so hard I would have convulsed. How in the world did they become that bad of a football team? It's one of the most. I keep saying, and I know FSU fans, you're tired of hearing me say it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to troll. I'm incredulous that it got that bad.
I think everybody is. I mean, I don't know how anybody could defend it. It's just it's been an absolute disaster for Florida State this season. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. Want to pay tribute to iconic music producer Quincy Jones, who died at the age of 91. He was nominated for 80 Grammy Awards in his career and won 28 of them. Of course, Jones is probably most famously known for producing Michael Jackson's Thriller album, which, of course, has Beat It.
Well done, as always. And Quincy Jones, one of the great music people of all time, no question. We'll take a break. When we come back, Chris Harry's going to stop by. He wanted us to call him, and now he's going to come by early on. So he covers Gator basketball. Nobody knows it better. Chris Harry to wrap the program with us, talking Gator hoops. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The men's college basketball season started on Monday with a full slate of games. The Duke Blue Devils are the betting favorites to win this year's national championship, Duke at plus 900. While the UConn Huskies, who have won 2 straight national titles, are plus 1,000 to claim this year's championship. The Kansas Jayhawks, who began the season number 1 in both the AP and the coaches poll, they're plus 1,100 to win the title. Alabama, the number 2 team in the preseason poll, plus 1,200. Gonzaga plus 1,600 to win their first ever NCAA championship. The Houston Cougars are plus 1,600 as well. Iowa State is plus 1,800. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
The holidays are just around the corner, and so is your entire family.
Babe, the toilet's growling at me again.
Uh-oh, the kitchen sink just turned into Old Faithful. Ah, there's no hot water!
Don't let plumbing chaos steal your holiday cheer. Call Duck Rooter today to fix those issues before Aunt Linda blames you for ruining Christmas dinner. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Post Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What?
Huh? I'm so over this."
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this. Call State Farm agent Scott Hobson in Ponte Vedra at 479-9000.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJax.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Don't be sidelined from an injury that keeps you out of the game. Get the care the pros receive. Now available at Injury Care Centers, newly FDA regenerative treatments that will significantly shorten your recovery time. Sprains, strains, fractures, post-op surgeries, cut your recovery time in half or shorter. Masking pain just makes it worse. Fix it now. Call 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
Family, football, and Friday night traditions connect the past with the present.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Friday Night Lights.
With Hacker and Andrew Gibson. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
When mice and rats show up in your space, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents, and they'll keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so do we. Don't live with a rodent problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at TrustlineMortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
know.
If you're getting engaged this holiday season, celebrating an anniversary, birthday, or shopping early for the holidays,
you do not want to miss Beard's Diamond's incredible 44th anniversary sale.
everything store-wide is on sale up to an unbelievable 44% off.
At the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. November is Veterans Month, and Awaken 180 is honoring all active duty veterans and spouses with 15% off our entire program, plus the same free support for life all clients receive. Celebrate Veterans Month with 50% off at awaken180weightloss.com.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
The Jaguars are facing off against the Minnesota Vikings Sunday, November 10th for the Jags Salute to Service game. See the Shell White alternative helmets in action for the first time and join us in honoring our military all game long. Kickoff is 1 p.m. Don't miss this matchup and lock in your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
After Jake Elliott's missed field goal late in the fourth quarter, the Jaguars had excellent field position to go down and find the end zone to complete a great late-effort comeback. Lawrence looked left to Dearness Johnson Jr. to find him in the corner of the end zone, but instead Eagles linebacker Nakobe Dean dropped back in coverage and took advantage of Lawrence's overthrow to give Dean the game-sealing interception. A tough scenario as the Jaguars almost pulled off a comeback. Here's Lawrence on what he saw that final play.
We tried to go over the top and just try to give credit to the linebacker. Did a great job. Nakobe did a great job making that play, and it's just tough when it finishes that way. You know, when I threw it, I thought we'd have a shot and left it a touch inside, and he got his eyes. Thought we'd be able to go up and get it, and he did a great job, made a great play.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
All right, welcome back to the program. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon. One of my good buddies in the business is Chris Harry. He does a great job covering the Gator basketball team, and he's in town. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Yes, the Gators
are. And you're with him.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were here with them. So
yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, they're going to be good, aren't they? I mean, this is give me a quick overview. I mean, this is we saw last year they won 24 games, and they were flawed a little bit defensively, but you could see it was coming. This team might be really good, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it will be 24-12 last year.
Yeah.
Played in the conference championship game in the SEC tournament. Won and out in the NCAA tournament as a 7 seed. That wasn't good enough for him, for Todd and the program. They want to not only build on that, but improve on that. Yeah. So however that looks, it may not – it was like we were just mentioning off air, the Southeastern Conference this year is going to be a bloodbath. Right. And so I don't know how that's going to look. Florida was 11-7 in the league last year, had some really big wins, beat Alabama, Final Four team twice, routed them actually twice, and lost the other time on the road in overtime. So, they stared down some really good teams last year in the league, and they're going to have to do that again this year. But I've been telling people, like I just told you, I think this is the best Florida basketball team maybe since that team that won 30 straight. And however that looks and manifests itself, let's watch it tonight. Let's see what it looks like.
Absolutely. Pullen was such an unbelievable floor general. How will they now morph to moving on beyond him and generating the offense?
Yeah, and this time last year, Zion Pullen was an unknown commodity, obviously, to the Florida basketball fans, and he didn't play till the fourth game of the season because he played in a pro tournament during the scouting combine and what have you. But yeah, he was first team All SEC. He really took care of the ball. I think he set team record in assist-to-turnover percentage. But having said all that, he was a very ball-dominant player. He got him organized. He dribbled a lot. He got into – and I'm not knocking him in any way. He was terrific. They're not going to look like that this year. They're going to whip this ball around. They're going to play really, really fast. They want to get a shot or be in position to get a shot within 6 seconds of the shot clock. They have more scorers on the court. They have better inside-out potential with what's going on in the post. left, and they got 3 impact transfers. Like everybody in the SEC is going to have impact transfers, but they have one that people in the state of Florida know, and Elijah Martin from Florida Atlantic. The guy won 60 games the last 2 seasons, played in the Final Four, scored 26 or 27 points, whatever it was, in a Final Four game. He knows what good basketball looked like. From the moment he got here, he's been a alpha male for this team, and at the same time, it hasn't disrupted in any way Walter Clayton's leadership, voice in leadership, or Will Richards' more quieted leadership. The chemistry's pretty good.
Now, in the way, those 3 guys have played a lot of basketball. That's your wings. Looks like
3,000-point scorers. Yeah, 3,000-point scorers coming in the season.
Condon and is it Chinleyu? I'm gonna say
Chinyeolu is right.
Chinyeolu, I know it's called.
You sound like a play-by-play.
I read Chris Harris. That's exactly it. But that's their starters.
That's right.
Then what? Does Aberdeen get in the mix? Obviously, Thomas Houck's going to get in the mix, but they got numbers, right?
They do, and they got 8. They got a core of 8 guys, and there's no guys in that core of 8 that they send in the game, you're like, okay, what are we getting out of this guy last year? And, just calling it like it is. This time last year, we were talking about Riley Kugel being the best player on the team.
Right.
At the end of the season, he wasn't the best player on the team for all his issues, the up and down play and whatever. You didn't know what you were getting out of him every night. I don't know that that's going to be the case with this team. Obviously, got a long way to go. This is the first game. An okay challenge, a neutral site game against a decent, probably well-coached team. But you mentioned Thomas Houck. You didn't mention Sam Alexis, transfer from UT Chattanooga, where he almost averaged a double-double. I think he blocked over 60 shots last season. They got a good nucleus. You mentioned Denzel Aberdeen. He's going to play. He's a 20-minute-a-guy game. Could be a starter on a lot of teams. So there's that nucleus, and they'll probably spend the non-conference schedule trying to find whoever that 9th player will be. I don't think Todd likes to play more than 9 guys. I mean, he kind of said that when he arrived. And the thing about Todd Golden, and I know you like him. You like how his teams play.
Very much.
He's done it was in the job interview, in his press conference. He said everything he was going to do, his vision of the program, and he's done it all. And so he deserves credit for that. So everything's morphing into his vision as he wants this team. He wants to play fast. He wants to be highly competitive, and these guys play really hard, and he wants ball security. So he had that last year. He did not have a good defense last year. That has been a huge point of emphasis, the number one point of emphasis, to the point where they've worked on defense way more than offense. And rightfully so, because they have really good offensive players. So that's going to be the kind of the subplot of the non-conference season, seeing if this defense is a lot better than it was last year, because it really needs to be.
What are your expectations for Alex Condon in his second year?
Okay, well, I mean, he exceeded them in his freshman year. He was all SEC. I think he was 9th in the league in rebounding. He's tried to expand his game. I mean, any kind of player that's 6'11", in this day and age, wants to try to shoot 3-pointers, and he's going to have a freedom to do that to a certain degree. But again, this is a high energy guy with a big wingspan. And I tell you what, when Ruben Chinyeolu, I don't mean to change the subject on it, he came from Washington State. This guy looks like Patrick Young, except about 3 inches taller.
He's physically
big. And more twitchy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's next to Con, and this guy, and those 2 guys play as hard as anybody. If Houck ever gets to the 3 position, now you got 3 guys that can play really hard, and maybe you've solved some of those defensive problems. So my vision for Alex Condon is just to be better than he was, more mature, more developed than he was a year ago.
How's Micah Handlocked into? I know he's not playing this year, but give me a status update.
I mean, he'll be here. He'll be on the bench. He'll be at 7'1". He'll be the second tallest guy on the bench. He'll be at the end of the bench. I'm sure you're gonna ask me about that. But he's on schedule. They haven't cleared him to do a lot of running and stuff, but he's done some things movement wise. But there's no plan for him, even in an emergency situation, to play. He'll redshirt, and he'll have 2 years of eligibility left, and he's fine with that. He'll be one of the biggest cheerleaders on the bench.
And you're right. We're on a little bit of a schedule, but tell me about the 7'9" guy. Well, I know I'm the first person to ask you about a 7'9" guy.
Yeah,
first of all, I'm first.
No, exactly. Every place I go, homo. Just stick him under the basket and let him block every shot. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work. The guys now, the Condon and the Chinyeolu, they go right around the guy and everything. He's a developmental player. He understands that. He's going to be quite a sight to see for on the road, but he will be here tonight, and he's he's just annoying. He's the biggest person you've ever seen.
Final thing.
Yep. How
good can they be? I'm fanboy. You know I am. But I loved the basketball. I loved Kruger. I loved the Billy team.
Sure.
I loved the freaking 30 in a row team with Yeget and all those guys. How good can this team be?
Okay, so just in context, they're the 21st ranked team in the country going into the year, and they're picked either between 7th and 9th to finish in the league.
Yeah.
That's how good the league is.
Right.
So I think how they develop and how they match up against some of those teams, all Alabama, Auburn, those are top 5 teams right now. Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee. It's they got to win those games, and the schedule isn't particularly favorable. Most of those games, they don't play Kentucky at home this year for the first time in 63 years. So going to have to win league games. Again, we won 11 last year. If he could win 12 league games, I mean, they got a really good chance to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA
I can't wait to watch him. It's crap that Kentucky's not coming in. I hate that.
That's right.
Chris, great work. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
JJ, where have we been?
Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, throughout the course of the show today, we talked about the Jaguars, a disappointing loss. Bucky Brooks joined us from the Jaguar Radio Network, talked about the struggles of that game. We talked about Florida, Georgia, the injury to DJ Lagway, which was a tough injury. But, boy, the Gator football team has found something. There's a toughness with them. I don't think anybody debates that. Hays took us through headlines, and Chris Harry, my buddy from Gainesville, stopped by to talk about what I think is going to be a very good Gator basketball team. And I really believe that. I can't wait to watch them tonight, coming up in just an hour and a half or so. All right, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
Rick, you were with me in Philadelphia yesterday. That was a tough one for the Jags, bro. A tough way to finish that thing.
Yeah, a little bit of the same old. It's basically the exact same script. Week after week, find yourself down by double digits, unable to do anything offensively early on. Then all of a sudden you catch some life, and you have an opportunity late in the game, and they just can't close it out. So this isn't new for our listeners. They're used to it, but nonetheless, we'll have some fun with it over the next couple hours.
Yeah, really, it was a tough loss, and you're right. When you're not accustomed to making the play at the end of the game, you generally don't make the play at the end of the game. What's coming up tonight, Rick?
We got all that. A look back yesterday in Philadelphia, also a little bit of a look ahead. It's kind of a weird week already for these Jaguars, and we saw what Minnesota did last night, particularly late, going to their great players, something that Jacksonville did not do yesterday late. So a little compare and contrast there, and we'll get into it. It's coming up right now.
All right, Rick, thank you very much, and that's exactly right. You go to your great players, and Minnesota certainly did that. That'll do it for our program. Thanks for being part of it. We are out of here. Thanks to Bucky Brooks. Thanks to my pal Chris Harry. Gator basketball tonight. Now, if you got a chance, there's tickets available. They don't start till 8:30 tonight. It's going to be on the SEC Network. Come by and watch a little basketball tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.